everybody, it's Father Casey, the pastor of the Epiphany of Our Lord Church, and I want to welcome you once again to our YouTube channel, The Fourth Magi. Well, first of all, Happy Easter. I hope that your Holy Week has been exactly that it has been holy, that it has been blessed. I hope that your Lent has been reflective and fruitful, and you've grown closer to Jesus in whatever practices that you have incorporated into your spirituality over these past 40 days. Over the past couple of months, I've had to say farewell to some good friends of mine who succumbed to the terrible disease of cancer in various forms. And death is a very hard thing to face when it's somebody that you love. Whether it's a family member or it's a close friend, it's somebody that you've journeyed with in your life, and you have to say goodbye to them. It's a terrible fact of life. And that sounds really strange to say like that, but it's true. As Shakespeare says in Hamlet, everybody must die. Death comes to us all. I believe it's Hamlet, but don't quote me on that. But it's definitely Shakespeare. Death comes to us all. And then there's another great quote from William Wallace in Braveheart when he says, "Every man dies, but not every man really lives." And that's another truism as well. And why do I talk about death? And it's Easter, because you can't talk about Easter, the resurrection of Jesus, without connecting it to death. Because on that Friday, his disciples, his apostles, his family members, his mother, to everybody who watched this unfold this past week, it looked like a terrible defeat. This man, this rabbi from Nazareth, had entered Jerusalem on a donkey, which was a symbol of peace, in order that he might usher in a new era. But to many people, they wanted a rabbi that was going to start a war with the Romans. That he was going to be the Messiah, but he was going to be the Messiah that would overthrow this government, that would overthrow this army and establish the kingdom of Israel once again as the son of David. But that never happened. And to see him crucified as a criminal, executed alongside two murderers, is just an utter defeat in the eyes of his apostles and disciples and family members. Wow, this man just showed up in Jerusalem a couple of days ago, and everyone was cheering Hosanna in the highest, and here he is on the cross and dying an ignominious death. But then, the tomb is empty. Jesus has been raised from the dead. And it was announced by angels to the women who went to the tomb in order to prepare his body further for burial. That they were announced that the man you're looking for, this Jesus from Nazareth, he's not here. That had to be quite a shock. If you've ever experienced death and loss and grief, then to be told that your loved one, the one that you're mourning over, is not here, they're raised from the dead and have gone ahead of you to Galilee, well, that's mind-boggling. But that's exactly what happened on Easter morning. And that's so important to remember that this day, because so many of us are mourning or grieving the loss of a loved one. And to think, even for a moment, that death is the end, that death has the last word, that death has the final say, well, then our grief is bottomless and we are inconsolable in our sorrow. But you see, with Easter, to believe in the empty tomb, to believe in the resurrection, to believe in life after death, well, that changes the whole story, doesn't it? Then the men and women, the family members, the friends that we grieve, who have passed on from this life, we know that they're not dead. They live. Their bodies may be dead. Their bodies may be wasting away in the ground or in some tomb, but their souls, that the souls which make them who they are, that doesn't die. That lives. And so our loved ones live. Death does not have the last word, but life does. And that on this Easter Sunday, we must remember that. Because that makes all the difference in the world when we think about the people that we mourn over, that we grieve. That as we say farewell to them, we can say, I'll see you later. It's not farewell forever, it's farewell for a short amount of time. As it has been said, they are simply just out of sight. They are just around the corner. That we're going to see them again, because death doesn't win, but life does. The Good Friday wasn't the end, but that Easter Sunday was the resurrection and victory over death. And Jesus says, I am the conqueror. I am the Lord of death. I am life. And so our loved ones live. And we will live too. So remember that this Easter Sunday, as we break bread, as we sing hymns of glorious resurrection anthems, that we will see our loved ones again, because Jesus Christ is the Lord of death. That he has been raised from the dead, and our loved ones do not die. Our loved ones live. Their lives are changed. They're not ended. God bless you, and have a happy Easter.